Want to know why? Ask how. Howard, the humongous. You've noticed that there's a debt crisis in Greece, but there's a crisis beneath the surface of the crisis you may not have noticed. An Al Jazeera reporter several days ago said that the differences between the people who want to say yes on the referendum that's occurring this very day and no on that referendum are so huge that they could plunge Greece into a civil war. Now, that may sound absurd, but modern Greece was born in a civil war, and there was a civil war in Greece from 1946 to 1949. Now, if the problem that Greece is having is with the European Union has lent Greece roughly $300 billion, a third of $1 trillion. That's a lot of money. Estimates go from as low as $281 billion to as high as $350 billion. One way or another, that's a honking huge amount of change. Greece's problem is with its creditors, the people it borrowed the money from who would like the money back. But why, if its problems are with its creditors, is it turning on itself? Why are Greeks coming to the point where they would fight each other in the streets? Well, once upon a time in the 1940s, Neil Miller and a guy named Dollard came up with the frustration-aggression hypothesis. That was me kicking the tripod. And the frustration-aggression hypothesis experiments, which we've talked about a lot of times, you take a rat and you run it down a straight maze, and when it gets to the end, it's accustomed to getting food. Great, food, fantastic. You wait until the rat is really accustomed to that process, and then you do something stinky. You put a little electrified grid just before the food. So the rat goes running down the maze, accelerating all the way, gaining in speed as it gets closer to the food. They've measured this gain in speed until it hits that damned shock strip. And all of a sudden, its feet are sizzled just before it can get to the food. Well, this produces frustration. So if you put another rat in with the rat who's undergone this sizzle before getting to the food, you would think, well, if this is a rational world and if it has any peace and compassion in it, the two rats would commiserate with each other. The new rat would come in and comfort the rat that's having all these problems. And you'd be dead wrong. The rat whose feet were sizzled when it tried to get to the food will jump on the rat that's put in as company and a comforter and will do his best to tear that other rat apart. When we undergo a frustration, the result is aggression, and we take that aggression out on something of our own species. When Dollard and Miller had come up with the frustration-aggression hypothesis, they made a prediction. If they got together cotton prices for the last 100 years, they reasoned, they would see that when cotton prices were high, cotton farmers were happy, and the number of lynchings were low. But when cotton prices went down and cotton farmers were having a real hard time making it through, what would they do? They'd kill other humans of their own species. The lynchings would go up. That was the prediction, and the prediction turned out to be true. It doesn't make sense for us to attack our fellow human beings when we are up against a frustration. It makes more sense to try to solve the problem. But we are wired with our animal instincts to attack others, and we have to learn not to do that, to solve the problem at hand. This is Howard the Humongous, coming to you from the future, that it's your job and my job to make. Or, want to know why? Ask how. And we don't have to find the off button because Cody the videographer is here this week.